Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Prime Time. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?
Design is more than aesthetics. It's a language that tells stories, preserves culture, and transforms spaces into experiences. And you'll get a grasp on this as we progress in the show. Good morning and welcome to Ways Breakfast. Hashtag what are you saying? It's Friday, the end of the week, and it's been an amazing one so far, all thanks to you. On this vibrant youthful platform, we tackle the conversations that matter most and concern the very important demography of the society, and that's the youth. Today's Friday's show is going to focus on innovation, and we'll be spotlighting a creative, so get your seat belts ready for an awesome ride with me. My name is Oluchi Omenka, your anchor for today, and of course, God's beauty loves me so much, and she said, you can't do this show alone. I'm going to be with you. So she's here with me. Hi, baby girl.
No, let's start with baby girl. I don't love you.
You know you love me already, so you don't have to make the audience see that you are trying to fight the love.
I do love you.
How are you doing today?
I'm beautiful.
You look so
usual.
sparkly.
Tell me.
I want to change your name to Dazzle.
Hey, is
Hi,
the God's beauty
Dazzle.
not enough?
God's beauty, it's okay, but I need to put more because you're dazzling.
I feel so gorgeous right now. Thank
so what's
you
your
so
plan
much.
for the weekend? Tell me you have
Plan for
something
the
very
weekend.
interesting in store.
Baby, there's no plan for the weekend. Let me be honest with you. So I remember having a conversation with someone just this morning, and I was like, see, I don't want, because I literally have like classes tomorrow,
Okay.
and I'm like, I don't want to go for classes. Again, except of course, if
Aren't you the
because-
same person who wanted to learn
so
much?
So of course, yeah, there's that part, but I've not rested. Like for the past 2-3 weeks now, weekends, right? I've been working back to back. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
So I feel like tomorrow I want to rest, but it's not looking like I mean the rest is even going to come one way or the other.
So how's your class like? Is it like throughout the weekend?
Yeah,
There should be a way you
literally.
can, slot in rest.
I'm so sorry. There's no way to slot in rest. Immediately you leave the house and go for classes, you literally will be coming back late in the evening. So you imagine that it's more like I have a normal full work to do. So yeah, like I love it. I love the journey and everything because I mean, just like I was saying, I was speaking to someone and there's certain things that I saw yesterday, and I'm just super proud of myself. That okay, so you're not just like a scriptwriter, but like you're not part of like this scriptwriting team in Lagos here, and you're like a scriptwriter, supervisor, supervising, setting scripts that are written by other persons. Baby, when did I start? I'm supervising other persons, so I feel so proud of myself. But yeah,
I love that.
we
I love
keep
to
moving,
hear
keep
stories
moving.
of how you're improving with your
Yes,
trade and
I like
career,
it.
and you're inspiring me. Well done. Well, for my own
inspire.
yes, no, I love to take inspiration from anything at all. This is
Okay,
inspiring, but I'll just give you a little tip that
Tell me.
don't focus a whole lot on how tiring the journey can
Yeah.
be, because I mean anything worth doing is worth doing,
worth
well.
doing well, of
And of
course.
course it will come with its own stress and burden.
True.
But you're an overcomer. Say amen.
Amen. Overcomer. Okay.
All right, today's show is quite different from our usual. We always like to bring different juicy stuff on the way. Today, we're going to be spotlighting a creative in the creative industry, the architectural and interior design space, to just get an overview of what happens there and draw inspiration as well. We'll go on a short break now, and you know that we're going to be highlighting significant event that has shaped our world. Today in history will be displayed shortly, and after that, we're heading straight to the headlines. So please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us. Remember, you're the main ingredient in this conversation. We'd love to hear your thoughts on our conversations and even the newspaper review. Please reach us on 070-2500-7749 or 070-1424-2420. And if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, head on now to Official Upgrade TV on YouTube. Click the subscribe button, like, share the link, and tune in to channel 145 on your GoTV. Right now, we're going to be scanning the pages of top newspapers, including The Punch, The Guardian, and of course, the National Independent. Is
Yes,
that the paper?
baby.
Yes, so God's Beauty is leading us on that.
All right, straight into the Independent newspaper. The top banner says, Nicola Sturgeon, I am completely in the clear over embezzling party funds. Then the main headline says, Zelensky defiles Trump, hands off my nuclear plant. So, just yesterday we were having a conversation around the fact that, it was stemmed positive. That's the call between Zelensky and Trump.
True.
And for sure that, first off, we know what exactly is going between the both of them. The fact that Trump don't want to help, the Ukrainians with military aid. And he's saying the only way I can do that is if you give me your mineral resources. And yesterday it was on all international newspapers that they both had a phone conversation, a call conversation, and it was stemmed positive, right? So now we are having full details of exactly what went down that yesterday. And I don't know why it was turned positive in that sense.
So was it like a sarcastic term?
Of course, it was a sarcastic term.
Wow.
Because let me quickly read that this detail to you. And it says Zelensky is pushing back against reports that Trump suggested the United States should take over the Ukraine's nuclear plants. Tell me why you want to take over their nuclear plant. See, one way or the other, Trump just wants the Ukrainians to be under the United States. And they don't want that, right? So if you know you cannot help this person, stay where you are. I'm so tired of this news. Like, what exactly does Trump want? Let me quickly continue in the detailed story. And it says, he made it clear that these plants belong to Ukraine and should not be controlled by any other country. That's Zelensky speaking. Now, Ukraine relies on nuclear energy for power and control over this plant is a big deal, right? Especially during the ongoing war with Russia. Now, if any other country like the United States steps in, it could change Ukraine's independence over its energy supply and national security. Ukraine is already dealing with Russia occupying one of its major nuclear plants. You can imagine that. Now, if the United States and any other country starts managing its nuclear energy, it could lead to more international conflict and loss of control over critical resources. So, this is literally to just give follow-up on what exactly is going on, right? We know the war is happening, and just yesterday when we had, the conversation around the fact that Zelensky and Trump had a phone conversation, and like I said, it was turned positive, and I feel like that's just a sarcastic, way of, saying that, oh, it never really went well. Do you understand? Because, tell me why. Of course, Zelensky has this mindset of we're already independent, and we don't want to be dependent on any country. Right? So Trump asking them for their nuclear plants is more like saying you will not be the one supplying them energy, you'll be the one supplying them light and all of that. They don't want that, right? If you know you don't want to give them the military aid for free, rest. It's simple.
I'm just saying that they deceived us. I was really hoping to hear something very positive.
Honestly.
Maybe the definition of positive has changed now.
I don't know, man.
All right, let's see what's happening in the national space. And trust me, this is more interesting than whatever is happening with Trump and the Ukrainians.
Put
My
me on
sister,
it.
you want to hear this.
Put me on it.
The major headline is what has been screaming across board: Rivers emergency rule. National Assembly backs Tinubu as Fubara counters president's allegation. Suspended governors blames Wike. South governors oppose Tinubu. And Ibas warns pipeline vandals. Falling containers grounds motorists on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Federal government panel reconvenes on Monday over Naira for crude crisis. U.S.-based Nigerian woman faces 10-year jail for $40,980 fraud. Federal government pardoned 4,000 prisoners, saved 1 billion naira on feeding, says minister. APC backs Tinubu as Atiku, Obi, and El Rufai intensify coalition talks. The last story reads 25% oversubscription of Fells Holdco's 150 billion rights issue paves the way for its private placement of 350 billion naira. Many stories here catch my attention, from the Rivers state of emergency story to the falling containers on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to pardoning
4,000 prisoners with the aim of saving 1 billion naira on feeding, and then the whole naira for crude crisis between Dangote and other bodies that are involved. And I'm wondering which one do I start with first? But
I think
of
that
course,
prisoner stuff is sounding a bit more
the prisoner
interesting.
stuff. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't get the full details of the story, so there's no proper context to start the
Okay.
conversation. But like looking at it like this, it's almost like some prisoners were pardoned, presidential pardon, whatever that's how that works. And the minister is saying that it has saved 1 billion naira on feeding. Apparently, it seems like a lot of money is even pumped
Into it.
to
But those they
to
are
keeping criminals in check. That's so funny. Like
Keeping
we're
criminals
trying
in
to
check.
put money into the economy and do good things that can help citizens that are not criminals, but the ones that are criminals in their thousands are taking a lot of money for feeding.
It's funny how the amount is actually that
1
huge.
billion. Now, what do they eat?
That's my problem. Isn't that those? I'm so sorry, guys, but you hear like ex-prisoners, people that are out already. You hear them say, "Oh, well, they should give us water beans."
True.
And so are those things that
I don't think they are
expensive?
lying, because in prison it's not like the. I know that maybe the nation that
The
pays
question
attention.
is, does it tally? Like the things that they mention that is what is prepared for them to eat in the prison.
Yeah.
Does it tally with the amount and figure we are hearing? That's my problem.
Well, I'm not the accountant that did all the figures. I'm just reading what I'm seeing on the Punch.
This is
And
Nigeria.
the Punch is telling us all of these details. Now, I've been hearing a whole lot. Primetime news has been helping us with dissecting this, River story.
Okay.
And there's a lot of debates. I think one of the things that make me a bit, I'm not the very debating type. Do you get
Okay.
it? I like calm and peace. But this particular story has fueled a lot of debate and criticism from both parties. There's background to this context. Everybody knows what was happening in Rivers, how that it was posing national threats and national security. And then the executive arm of government, Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, came out to declare a state of emergency. State of emergency is not the first person to do it. Past presidents, Goodluck Jonathan, and some others have declared state of emergency.
Of course. I mean, it's
Do you get
constitutionally
it?
backed. So, yeah.
Constitutionally backed, fine. But then the contention here is how he went overboard, supposedly, right now, to suspend governors, which was not, bound by the Constitution.
It's
and
not,
I'm like,
it's not it's,
so,
right.
watching all this debate and seeing people show some emotionalism to it, because it's almost like a good guy, bad guy, villain story that we're playing here. My own take of the story is we are not looking at one part that needs to be sorted. And if we don't look at it, we'll keep having recurrence of this story in different ways.
Yeah.
It's a problem of the ambiguity of Constitution. I mean, I know that it states there, maybe I do not know everything that the Constitution states, but of course it states that, the executive doesn't have the rights in that sense to take away somebody that has been, by law put on elected. But then that Constitution is still very much ambiguous. And if you take this thing to court, seeing the fact that the National Assembly is even backing the president, it would not come to something very concrete. So if you want to avoid questions from this party to this party, a lot of revisitation of the Constitution needs to be checked. When we start making this thing less ambiguous, I think certain structures and policies in the future will begin to make more sense. And we can now even hold people more accountable, rather than put a lot of emotionalism to the story. So it's a very, very dicey one. There are a lot of things to blame. There are a lot of things to consider. It's almost like, is it a right or wrong thing? And I'm wondering, which side do I take? I do not take sides at all. I just think that the bedrock of this problem is to make the Constitution not to be as ambiguous as it's always been, so that when we want to hold people, it will make sense. I think that's just all I have to say.
I feel like when it comes to this story, there's a lot of things to be said. I was listening to Natasha just yesterday, and even some of the things that she said, I mean, in my head, I'm like, okay, these things are not actually even constitutionally backed. So what exactly are we even expecting in a country
or
where
maybe if they are ambiguous, it's just
people,
layers upon layers upon layers. What are you saying in the Constitution?
The same people that, I mean, put all these words and all this language, whatever, together to make it a book and all, are not even following it. I'm not even sure some of them even know what is inside that book. Let's not lie, right?
They
because
know.
if you know, then you're supposed to be following it. But again, even just like if you open the Constitution, I think the first page or so, where it states that nobody is above the Constitution and everybody is beneath it. In this country, it's looking like everybody is above that book. Let's not lie. So what do you really, what do you expect? And I mean, when it comes to this whole, because I was seeing a lot of celebrities, like of Fowls, when we heard of the state of emergency, they're like, what is going on with this president in question? Like, there are a lot of things on it, right? I mean, but in conclusion, I would just say that in a country where many persons don't even understand what the law is about, the people that wrote it are clueless to what exactly they have written down. So I don't know. It's giving me, let me not say it's giving me ChatGPT vibe, but you know what?
I don't understand.
No jokes, because if you see the way they do these things, except they want to be ignorant of it, do you understand? Where you know that these things are written down, but of course you want to be oblivious to the fact that, okay, these things are there. I feel like that's what's happening. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, coming to the president himself, for him to be saying, well, it's crazy. Let them just do their thing themselves.
This kind of topics get you choked. Like, you don't want to say what you want to say. You just want to say what...
I beg, make I not go talk the one where we say...
But let's see what the Guardian has for us. The major headline reads, Thrones for Hire, How Politics and Corrupt Process Taint Traditional Institution Royal Souls. Report hinges failure of public water services on corruption and negligence. We freed, that same prisoner story records here. It says we freed 4,082 minor offenders to save 1 billion naira yearly, says federal government. Absence of Nigerian envoys not affecting the foreign missions, Tuga assures. 2027, Ganduje minister dismissed Atiku, Obi and El Rufai coalition as failed gang-up. NAS faces backlash over state of emergency approval. Fubara denies culpability. Expert laments rising use of synthetic drugs amongst youth. I endured Akpabio's sexual advances for over a year, Natasha alleges. For peace, Pandef advises Tinubu to reverse emergency rule. And the last story here reads, salary review for political office holders underway, says RMAFC chairman. And that's just a repetition of some of the stories from the Punch. We're seeing it here again. And that's all we can say.
Salary reviews. Can we talk about
salary review for who? For political office. Oh, do you know that I read this story
in a country where we are owing low, you want to start doing review?
I read this story without actually understanding what I was reading. I was just reading it out. But thank God I did not pay attention to it, so we do not drag this banter beyond what we have. Today's segment is something very inspirational, so away from the bad stories. We'll take this short break. Remember, we are spotlighting a creative in the house today and want to understand architecture and interior design through a woman's lens. So let's take this short break. When we return, we'll usher in our guests and head on straight to the conversation.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlights. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time.
Welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us. Today's topic, as I mentioned earlier, is Creative Spotlight here, architecture and interior design through a woman's lens. Architecture and interior design shape how we experience spaces, blending functionality with aesthetics. In Nigeria, the industry has long been male-dominated, but women like Tolulope Adebayo are redefining this landscape. And as the founder and creative director of Inuda Creations, Tolulope merges culture with contemporary design, creating unique interior and furniture that celebrate Nigerian heritage. And with a strong background in architecture from the University of Lagos and years of experience in interior architecture and product design, she has gained both local and international recognition. Her Ijoko Abeti Ajachir, I hope I pronounced that well, inspired by the Yoruba Fila cap, was featured at the Design Week Lagos 2021. And in 2022, she showcased her work at Salon de Mobile in Milan, Italy. Today, she joins us to share her journey, challenges, and vision for the future of Nigerian design. All right, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you.
So stunning and very
You
calm.
too.
Like you don't engage in conversation. You just do your designs and then you move away. Is that your personality? Can we assume that that's who you are?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Just get by your work and move.
Yes.
So how do you get creative inspiration if that's the case? I know some people, they get their creative inspiration from socializing, talking to people, having to move from one place to the other. So if you're the reserved type, how do you express creativity?
Okay, I do a lot of research. Yeah, so my creative process is mainly from research, going to history. I love history. I'm going back to the past and applying it into today's world, today's modern world.
Yeah.
So I think observation also. Yeah, so that's just my typical creative process.
All right, that's amazing. So seeing your bio, you have dabbled into a number of things, from architecture to product design to a lot of things, actually. A lot of things that can't be mentioned. And they are not the very common thing that you find a woman doing in today's world. I mean, sadly, we have some, I won't say stereotypes, because I've used that word a lot of times, but we have certain, careers or paths that are meant for women and all of that. But you've dabbled into a number of things, and that's inspiring. So I'd like to ask the first question. What inspired you to take this multi-dimensional approach?
Okay, let me make something clear. So this is 2025.
Okay.
And things are changing. Things have changed, actually. Things have evolved. Architecture has evolved. Designs have evolved. So basically, I wouldn't say it's a masculine-dominated field. Yes.
Okay.
It's
As
now.
we are so known.
I think 5 to 7 years back, going back, that has been cleared. A lot of females are now into architecture, interior architecture, product designing. So I think what's brought me into that field was, I think from childhood, growing up in Lagos, Nigeria, I loved the fact that let me just go back a bit.
Okay.
Introductory technology. That was my favorite subject. And we did practicals. I think that was what pricked my interest into architecture. And I had a good teacher then that was able to, okay, you like this a lot. We did a lot of practicals, and I was always the one putting in all the efforts and everything. So he guided me through it and told me, oh, you can be an architect. Then I had this background where I have a family that we're all artists. We are into art and designs and all. So that was what got me into architecture. So I already knew what I wanted to do since, say, my teenage age. Then now getting into interior architecture was just things falling in place. When I was in my master's program in University of Lagos, I went to work in an office. I was just basically looking for a job. But with time, I started understanding that interior architecture was not just what a lot of us think is just to hang flowers here, put lights here and all. It's a lot more. It's actually art and science of buildings, a field in architecture.
So the three things I've mentioned, is there a correlation with all of them? Because there's architecture, there's interior design, there's product design, and that seems to be what you're dabbling in. Is there like a correlation for everything, or you're trying to dabble into a number?
Yeah, there's a correlation for everything. So as I said earlier, interior came, right, when things fell in place. But product designs now, you can call it also industrial designs. It happened because I wanted to create a niche in my field of interior architecture. So I started playing with pieces, furniture pieces. I call them light structures. So I designed a dental clinic some years ago, and the reception decks, I played with it, making it look like a tooth. So it's a lot, and it even shows in my my piece, the Ijoko Abeti Aja villa that was exhibited at the Saluni and has been exhibited at Design Week Lagos. I have a metaphoric approach to designs. So I want to play with the pieces. I don't just want to see a chair and just let it be just like that. It's functional, yes, you sit on it, but what else can the chair be? If you see a cup, it's functional. What else can it be? So I play a lot with my pieces, and that's where I have created a niche in what I do as an interior architect and an architect too.
Interesting.
That's beautiful. Well done. So let's talk a bit about I'm very sure there will be challenges, there will be barriers. And I like the fact that you stayed 5-7 years back. Women has always been in the space, right?
Yes.
So it's not like a space where we are crying or we are shouting that women representation needs to be known and needs to be seen. So let's talk about the barriers you face personally. I mean, in this journey, what were the barriers so that people that are upcoming, they would not, fall into those mistakes that you also made while coming out?
Okay. When you say barriers, I would say that's also, it's still that stereotype where where they say it's a masculine-dominated field.
Okay.
But I think the people I work with, the people I collaborate with, I work with a lot of men. Yeah, so on site you have the furniture vendors, you have the light, electrical works, electrical vendors, and all. And I see you are a leader to men.
Right.
So I think that's one of my challenges. That has been one of my challenges. How men receive women as leaders. Yeah, but it actually depends on the man. These are times where men need to, I think the men too need to do something about that. Right, that's mentality. But I think that has been a challenge.
Having to work with
that
space.
Men in that. Yeah.
That's quite an amazing one. Well, this question I want to ask now, I really want to go into your creative space. I want to get into your head right now and see how this whole creativity thing happens. So we know that with what you do, looking at your work, going through some of the things that you do, a lot of creativity is shown, and it's embedded in rich African culture.
Yeah.
Right, you already mentioned that a lot of research is done to achieve certain products or pieces that you come, to have eventually. But then we also wanted to appeal to modern day aesthetics. Yeah. So I'm wondering, do you at any point face that problem of authenticity where you want to explore the rich African culture and you also want to appeal to modern day aesthetics? Imagine if your clients are foreigners, but they are based in Nigeria as well, and you want to even pitch something that is very Nigeria-like, want to go back to Isoko, want to go back to how things are done in the East. But these people are going to fancy modern aesthetics more. How do you manage authenticity, like making it look like your own work, but yet still appealing to your... Do you get my question?
Yeah, I get your question. So I talked earlier about the fact that I'm creating a niche in something, right? And that is a metaphoric approach to my designs. Now, I do it around culture, right? And the thing about culture is timeless.
Okay.
It doesn't go out of style.
Yeah.
It is our culture. It is who we are. We are Nigerians. I'm Yoruba. The other person is Igbo. Do you get? So culture is timeless. So when I have clients or my creative, I'm trying to design, pitch my creative work, creativity to my clients. So let me give an instance. My piece. I keep mentioning that because that has gone really far. The chair. What I did was I brought in a bit of origami into that. Origami is a Japanese form of design, art.
Okay.
You fold things. It's usually with papers. So I delve into a lot of, in my leisure time, I play with papers, do origami and stuff. So that was already in view. My mind was already trained towards designing in that way. So that's one. Then I look into the cultural part where we have the filler, right? And my eyes is saying that, oh, this can form, this can work as an origami shape.
Okay.
So I bring in origami with my culture.
So
yes.
Blend two cultures
yes.
together.
Blend two cultures together. Then the legs now. The legs, you see that it's minimalism. It's a bit of, it's just wood, plain wood. So that's the way you see everyday chairs, everyday tables. So that's modern. So I brought in origami, I brought in my culture, the filler, and I brought in those legs. So you see a timeless piece. It would not go out of style. Yes, because culture in itself is timeless, and I brought in other cultures to it.
So a lot
I brought
of brain
modernity.
work goes into this.
I said research. I do a lot of research.
That's amazing. Godrichi, I know you might have a question, but I want to just quickly add this because it relates to what I said before. So I said that you have to appeal to foreign audiences eventually. So how do you think they perceive some of your pieces? There's this idea that I have that foreigners really love African pieces, and there's this mushy thing they get. That's why some of them visit our museums. They come for tourism, and they like our work. I want to now really ask if that's really the case when it comes to some of our architectural pieces and designs. How do they perceive it? Seeing the fact that one of your work got some international recognition in Italy, Milan, right? So tell us how that works.
I love your question. Foreigners, they actually appreciate our work. Yeah, and I had an experience when my work was taken to Italy, right? Also, I didn't go to Milan. My work was taken to Milan. So there was someone that reached out to me for an interview, and she was asking, oh, I see this chair. I see how colorful it is, and I see how, I see the wings. I love it, but I don't understand it. I see origami, but what were you trying to do when you were designing this? What were you thinking about? And I told her, oh, I brought in an African filler, a cap. And she was like, wow, there's a cap like that. So foreigners, it makes bringing culture, our culture, into our modern designs, puts our culture out there.
Okay.
They appreciate it. And I think foreigners are just intrigued by, what are these people thinking? Africans are very creative. In fact, I want to write a paper, like an article on what some design philosophies that Africans had in the past. Yes. If you notice, the Aja is dog. So that cap was even a creative piece on its own, a creative fashion piece on its own. Designed, it was inspired by the ears of a dog. If you look at the Benin art, Queen Mother Idia, I designed a lamp from that, but that will be released soon. So that's ornamented piece of the Queen Mother, Idia's head, she picked a chicken's beak, the beak of a chicken. So they were inspired by nature, they were inspired by animals, they were very intelligent. It's just that they didn't have, they were doing it with what they had, locally made materials and all. So foreigners actually appreciate that, the creativity of Africans.
And they're pushing it as much, or it's just an appreciation that ends
No,
there?
no. We are in the spotlight. Yes, Africans are in the spotlight. That's why I got that platform.
Okay.
Yes, we are building a Nigerian-made brand. So we are in the spotlight, actually, and we have to take advantage of it. This is our time as designers. Yeah.
Very amazing. Thank you for landing with those words. This is our time as designers, to every young person listening to us here, to take advantage and, of course, shine. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we have more questions before we wrap up the show. So please stay with us. Put your own comment on our YouTube page as well if you have questions for our creative here, and, of course, we'll take them. Let's take a short break, and we'll be right back shortly.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, lives a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you for sticking with us. Today is Friday. We are highlighting, why am I saying highlighting? Spotlighting a creative in the house who is doing great work in the architectural and interior design space, and she's been with us since morning over a few minutes ago, discussing how this thing works, the creativity, the research that goes into it, and of course the global recognition that African artists are getting now, and advised us to take advantage of it and be in the spotlight. Of course, Godriti has some questions for her. Shoot.
All right, thank you so much. I feel like, honestly, even for the break that we are supposed to have, I'm like, okay, can you just keep going on and on and on? Because I see how passionate you are, about talking about your work and the creativity that goes into it. So now, because, with the topic that we have, we're actually talking about these things through the lens of, a woman, right? And that's why you're here. So let's talk about young women that want to, they see these things, they've heard you see all of these things, and they're excited. Oh, how do I even start? Where do I start from? Where do I, who do I speak to? Are they mentorship? Or, just put us on women that want to, come into this space now. Where do they start from? Because given that you already know everything, you understand what's going on, and you just keep it moving, regardless of, the men that are there. Because I'm very sure having men in your space sometimes can be very hectic. Let me not go into that, but, put us on young women coming into this space, how do they start? How do they find their foot and all of that?
Okay, that's a good one. So young women coming into this space to do this profession, first of all, just know what you want. You know what you want. You want to design. You want to grow. You want to build. And I think one of the things I would tell anyone is have a vision, right? this is what they are doing. I'm designing, I'm building, I'm growing. So have a vision, know where you are going, and don't be under pressure, because there's a lot of pressure in our world today. A lot of people, they go through a lot. Like, one of the things you need to do as a young person is learn. Have a ready mind to learn. Be open to take criticism, yes, and your male counterparts, guys. Okay, when I was in architecture school, we were barely 12 ladies in the class, and there were a lot of guys, and they had so much energy and all. But as a lady, take your time, do your thing, don't be under pressure.
See, that number you mentioned is why we think
exactly.
that it's a dominated space
so
for men.
my days was, how many years ago? That was, say, 2015.
Okay.
So that was a while ago.
2015.
If you go to the architecture classes now, the ladies are even more.
Are
The
you really sure about that? Maybe I'll do that research, because I think that the number is still not balancing as much. I mean, based on some things I even heard recently, it's still like this.
And the thing is, there's this. Don't be lazy as a lady. Know that you are going to get your hands dirty. Yes.
And we don't like to get our hands dirty.
We don't like it, but you get your hands
I
dirty.
don't like to get my hands dirty.
So that's why. Do you want to do this? Do you want to be like a Jumoke Adenowu? That was one of the people that I looked up to when I wanted to study architecture. You know, do you want to be like a Zaha Hadid? She was a queen of curves architecture. She's late now.
Okay.
But those people, when you see their buildings, you see their work, you wouldn't mind getting your hands dirty actually to achieve that. So that's actually my advice.
So
be ready to get your hands dirty.
Very interesting. I want us to talk about the business side of this, because anybody listening to this right now can enjoy the whole creative process.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so inspiring. I love to see creative people. Generally, I like to see when people can come up with something out of nothing, and I feel like, oh, this is a lot of creativity and it's inspiring. But we are in an economy that needs help, and so everybody is finding a way to survive in this economy, right? That's why you see many people take a lot of skills. They are juggling remote. They're doing 9 to 5. They're going into tech, just juggling a lot of things together. So if somebody is watching this show right now and they're hearing you talk about interior designs, architecture, product designs, looking at the works that you have that are even getting international recognition, tell us about the business side of these things. How profitable is it in the markets today? If I'm getting into this space, give us some business acumen skills, whatever it is, to let us see that there is some sort of revenue that can be generated, or maybe it takes a while before it's generated, how it works, you know, is it competitive, you know, how do you go about sourcing for products? Is it the economy also affecting that space where, you know, some of all these products are now tripled in prices, so it's even difficult to outsource them to even go about your work? How is the business side of this? Should someone want to venture in?
When you mention competition, there is serious competition. Yeah.
In this space?
In this space?
Yeah. there is serious competition. Okay. And everybody is a designer and an interior designer. Everybody is...
Or maybe people use the word very loosely.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just do something and I'm an interior designer.
I actually need to make that clear. They are interior decorators. They are interior designers and architects. I think interior designers, some of them don't actually go through architecture school, but they go to design school. But you see someone that is a decorator saying he's an architect, an interior architect. I'm just wondering what's going on here. Because this architecture is how many years? 7 years, 6 years in Unilag.
What differentiates this person? So what's the work? So that we get it. Because again, just like you said, anybody that you see doing the architecture whatever, or sorry, the deco whatever, would automatically think that, oh, I can do this too. So
even people that sell furniture piece, some of them call themselves interior designers.
So that's the challenge, because in Nigeria everybody is doing anywhere belief is. Sorry.
Front.
Yeah. So you see a decorator. A decorator is someone that just puts accessories, put lights, and just make the space look good.
Okay.
Right? But an architect would put functionality into consideration, put ventilation. There is something called climatology in buildings. That is a whole lot. There is sustainability, putting in sustainable solutions. We are working with a global we need eco-friendly materials in our buildings, in and outdoor. So we have that. We have the lighting. And when I say lighting, I mean where the sun, the orientation of the building, right? So we have a lot of consideration. We are trained for that as architects. And even interior, it reflects, because interior is still part of exterior. It's building art, the art and science of buildings. So, but the decorator cannot say he knows that. Do you understand? So, but however, in other creations, let me talk about myself. I do all. Yes, I do the decoration part, I do the design part, I do the architecture part. So we have a complete package. Yeah, and you have more experienced hands. Yeah, with Inoda Creations. Yeah, because we have that already.
Okay, I was asking about that business side of it. Based on what's happening with the economy right now, I'm sure the cost of production has increased. So does it in any way, hamper the quality of work you people do? Or how do you go about the business side of this, creative journey generally?
Okay, so cost of production is a major thing. You should know your clients. When you meet your client, you should know your client, what your client wants. You should be able to get the brief properly. Then also there's a place of not compromising your quality. Yeah. So one thing I do is, when I get a brief, I look through it. If I'm sending an invoice or a BOQ, I would put in some terms and conditions. That, okay, within a space of so time, maybe in 3 weeks' time, this cost will not be valid because the prices of materials increase almost every 2 weeks in the market. So that is one of my major challenges. So I always put it there. It's stated. So that's, am I answering your question?
Yeah, sure.
So it's stated there that this is what is going to happen. It will be invalid after so time. So if the client is not ready and he comes back later and says, oh, I still want to use that same price to do this and that, you already have it stated in the documents.
Okay.
Yeah,
So proper business structure and procedure.
Yeah, so proper business structure and procedure.
You want to ask a question?
Go on.
Now, we're in a technological world. Everybody's using AI, technology to make things better. I think last 2 weeks when we had a fashion enthusiast on the show, she mentioned how even AI is helping fashion designers these days. And of course, we've gone past that discussion that it's dampening or stifling your creativity. It should rather be a tool for you to enhance your work and be better. So tell us how AI or the infusion of technology has helped your work as an interior designer, I guess, not decorator, or both, since you're multidimensional. So how's it helped you? AI, as you said, it enhances your work. When we practice, when we study the course and we do all that, we did not study how to use computer-aided your system. We don't use our systems. Even we are trained to think in a certain way, right? And using AI is just aiding your process, your design process, making it faster. Okay. Yeah, it just makes it faster. It doesn't replace. Do you use it as much? Yeah. Okay. I use computer-aided designs. Okay. Revit, as every other firm uses it right now in Lagos. Yeah, I do that. That's interesting. Yeah, so, but it just makes your work faster, and it's not a replacement for a designer, because there is the part of culture now.
Yeah.
What is AI going to do with
I
Kojo?
feel like if you put in the right prompt or whatever, it actually would help you. Like, I get your point, but I just feel like when it comes to AI and all of that, I feel like there's a lot of good that AI can
Yeah.
actually do.
Get for
I
you.
mean, maybe because I'm a writer and I see, using AI in a different lens and all. But I feel like there's practically nothing that AI cannot help you with. Do you understand what I'm saying?
What you're saying is right. So that's why I said you are trained to think in a certain way.
And do you
so
think
what
that is
the
good?
data you put in would reflect because you have a way you think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I think we've literally made mention of almost everything about except collaboration. So let's talk
Okay.
a bit about collaboration, how helpful it is. And I like the fact that she made mention of the fact that the economy right now is not smiling. And I like the way you said, anywhere belle face, na fraud. So you have to...
Everything together.
Exactly,
Yeah.
you know. So now that you're doing everything, I want to know where the space is. I mean, what space you've left now for collaboration? How important do you think it is for your field? That's the architecture, the interior design, and all of that. Yeah. So just tell me how important it is. And
When you say collaboration, are you saying collaboration with
other artists,
Okay.
probably with international persons. Maybe, again, I don't know if your field is that field that would always need funding. I mean, there's no time
definitely.
for having a hair. So
Yeah.
just put me a bit around the whole collaboration thing.
Okay, collaboration would be, I plan on collaborating with other designers. Yeah, I plan on collaborating with tech people in the tech world also, because we are in a world of technology and things are changing. So there is a whole lot of possibilities. Collaboration just makes it possible for you to delve into more. And okay, I don't want to mention names, but I actually have some plans in place to collaborate with certain people, especially in the product designing field.
Okay.
Yeah, in the product designing field.
How has past collaboration been for you? I don't think it's like the first collaboration that you want to venture in. How has it been for you, the experiences?
Okay, I've worked with Immersia virtually. I work with them a lot.
Okay.
It's a virtual reality company, and we do a lot of collaborations. I do a lot of designs for them, and presently we are working on this motion simulator.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a motion simulator, right? So you sit on it and you drive, but it's shaping as a car. That's product designing.
Yeah.
So, and it's within the Nigerian space. Yeah. So I'm doing that. So that's one of the collaborations I've done, and
wow,
it's working out
very
well.
interesting conversation that we've had today. Thank you for opening our mind to see that there's possibilities in the architectural and interior design space. And thank you for debunking the whole loose words that we use. Everybody is claiming interior decorator and interior design. And thank you for also highlighting that hard work is essential to grow and shine in any field. I hope our viewers and audience really got something for today. Till next week again when we come your way, same station, same time, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Same faces, God Richie and I aren't going anywhere. And Okikiola Taiwo Jalupo. So see you again next week, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Have a great weekend.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Osayome Sale from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?